It is hard not to be so cynical. It is. I'm with Maureen on this. Everything they do seems so manipulative, calculated, PR motivated, money motivated, and the antithesis of what it means to actually be a dutiful working royal.
I have a letter from your husband and your kids. No one's ever seen this before.
So bad.
What is she talking to me emotional? I have full body chills right now.
For them to be able to look telling her how great she is.
Oh my
That's
gosh,
their whole existence.
She does so much.
Very selfish view. By the way.
Meghan Markle just pulled off what might be her most awkward media move yet. For the first time, she appeared as a guest, not a host, on a podcast. Specifically, the Jamie Kern Lima Show, a feel-good, soft-focused space typically reserved for inspirational chats and life lessons. While the setup seemed designed to show a raw, emotional side of Meghan, the internet wasn't buying it. From the moment she walked onto the set, barefaced, hair loosely tied and barefoot, the goal was clear vulnerability. But what viewers saw instead was performance.
He is a makeup entrepreneur, and they both sit there and and they both sit there and gloat about how the fact that they're being so raw that they're not wearing makeup so that they can cry.
A tweet that quickly went viral summed up the public reaction. 83% dislike rate. That's not a podcast, that's a flopcast. Many called it one of the most contrived and over-rehearsed podcast appearances in recent memory. Then came the emotional moment, Meghan reading a letter to her children. Her voice cracked, her hand went to her chest, but no actual tears fell. Critics were quick to label it crocodile tears, calling it a PR stunt masked as raw emotion. Meghan Kelly even broke the moment down frame by frame, zooming in to emphasize the obvious. No tears, just facial expressions.
Except she didn't put eye makeup on. And she also is pretending like she's crying. And we did a zero in, like we zoomed in just to see. There isn't a tear in sight, Dan. Look at this. I invite the viewers to take a close-up look at this. Where's the tear? There's nothing there. Look, it's an actor's trick. She just keeps wiping and wiping and wiping, so we think she has a heart.
This pattern isn't new for Meghan. Her Spotify podcast Archetypes was marketed as authentic and vulnerable, but ended up being criticized for feeling overly scripted and lacking spontaneity. There's a growing trend, and people are noticing. Critics point to Meghan's relentless push to seem relatable, too grounded, too humble. It often backfires, making her efforts feel more like branding than sincerity. From feigned crying to timed emotional letters, the podcast felt less like a conversation and more like an audition, and this moment has sparked broader backlash. Piers jumped on the viral clip and delivered what might be his most scathing critique yet. Never one to hold back on Meghan, Piers called her new Netflix series With Love, Meghan unwatchable, a vanity project where everyone just sits around praising her. He didn't stop there. He blasted both Meghan and Prince Harry as emotional con artists, claiming they fake vulnerability to sell sympathy and secure brand deals. According to insiders, Hollywood is starting to distance itself from the couple.
It becomes so toxic. Most big stars now, they want the real royals rocking up at their events. They want them at their rock concerts. They want them at their movie premieres. They want William and Kate. They don't want the ones that everybody hates. So they're losing that cachet very fast. And it seems to me that Hollywood is abandoning them fast.
Even their closest celebrity allies are reportedly stepping away. The podcast flopped. Her lifestyle brand underperformed, and her attempts to reinvent herself as a soulful, misunderstood mother are falling flat. One particular moment drew special criticism. Meghan revealed she sends nightly email letters to her children using secret addresses they don't even have access to yet. What she framed as a heartfelt parenting ritual was widely mocked as another transparent PR move. Critics argued it wasn't really about the kids. It was about shaping her public image as a poetic, devoted mother. That's the trend. Every so-called intimate moment feels more like a tactic than a truth. Then there was her hard work speech. in which she cited things like writing Instagram captions and maintaining friendships as examples of her overwhelming workload. Unsurprisingly, that didn't land well with working moms juggling real-life pressures without the support of personal assistants and PR teams.
Created for the kids these email addresses that sort of like names, again, that you would never guess, that I will give them at some point in their lives when they're older. But before I go to bed almost every night, I email them.
Wow.
I email because it doesn't have to be a heavy lift, and you email them like, here's a report card from today, or oh my gosh, was it the funniest thing this morning, or here's a picture of you two having breakfast, or here's you playing with the dog. The things that you're not going to frame, the things that you're not going to put pen to paper in a journal, but they will end up at one point in their life, maybe when they're 16 or when they're 18, that I say, here's an email that I've been keeping for you.
I knew her a bit before she met Harry. She was nothing like that. She didn't speak like that. Her mannerisms weren't like that. This is all fake, right? She was a real hard-nosed LA girl, right? Who was on the fast track. Yeah. Now she's like this, oh, I'm soft, I'm mummy, I'm this. It's all bullshit.
Even the host, Jamie Kern Lima, wasn't immune to criticism. Her exaggerated reactions, constant praise, and scripted tone made the interview feel more like a TED Talk than a genuine conversation. At this point, the question isn't just whether Meghan is out of touch, it's whether anyone in the royal family still supports her.
I have a letter.
He's also a fox, if you haven't noticed. My husband's very, very handsome, but his heart is even more beautiful.
I love that your eyes are sparkling right now.
Oh.
Oh my God. Dan, I threw up in my mouth.
Yes. Yes.
Dan, when you do interviews on your show, do you do the Jamie Kern Lima reactions? Yes. Oh my God, there's something wrong with her. What? Wow, who communicates like that? She's the only thing saving Meghan Markle, because between the two, she's even weirder. But Meghan Markle, this is a tell. Okay, this is a tell. It's the same way on Valentine's Day. You see people post like, my rock, my life partner, the person who saved me. Guaranteed that guy is cheating on her and she knows it.
Behind the scenes, a much bigger storm seems to be brewing. Prince William is allegedly pushing for their royal titles to be revoked, frustrated not only by Meghan's podcast antics, but by their continued media moves, while King Charles battles cancer. Polls in the UK show that nearly 2/3 of Brits now support stripping Harry and Meghan of their royal titles entirely. This isn't just an emotional backlash, it's a strategic one. Critics argue that their continued use of Duke and Duchess titles undermines the monarchy's credibility. William reportedly wants the whole thing gone. Not just the HRH designations, but even the Sussex titles. And while HRH status can be revoked by royal decree, removing the titles would require Parliament. But public sentiment is moving in that direction. Even Meghan's own brother, Thomas Markle Jr., has spoken out, claiming Meghan ruined Harry's life and predicting she'll leave him as soon as his royal status is officially gone. It's a brutal accusation, echoed by many online following her recent podcast meltdown. And now reports suggest Meghan may be seeking therapy to cope with the increasing backlash. Whether that's true or not, it reflects the pressure that continues to mount.
Father, Prince Charles, is battling cancer. He intimates publicly, I don't know how long, he actually says it, I don't know how long my father has left. Disgusting. He and Meghan are repeating history. They are doing to King Charles what they did to Prince Philip on his deathbed with that Oprah interview. They are doing what they did to the Queen in the run-up to her death, and then Harry's missives to the media. Oh, William and Aunt, they left without me. I wasn't on the plane. I got the call too late.
Yeah.
Me. I. They're doing it to the king, and I promise you, Piers, and I'm sure you see this coming. Once there is a King William, that door is well and truly shut, and the title's gone.
Ironically, Meghan's attempt to reshape her public image through emotional storytelling and curated vulnerability may have had the opposite effect. Instead of earning sympathy, she may have triggered institutional retaliation. With Prince William reportedly prepared to revoke titles the moment he takes the throne, this is no longer just a family feud, it's a full-scale branding war. The crown appears to be choosing preservation over reconciliation.
I think what's going to happen, because the threat of William taking the titles away, And he, rightfully so, he should. If somebody attacked my wife like that while she was ill, that's something you can never forgive. Somebody talks so much trash about me, burns every single bridge, and then begs for forgiveness because their popularity sucks and they're in the gutter. And then you try and go crawling back, you know, and you want to go back and you make this big story up. It's such garbage. But I think once the titles get stripped, you know, I think Harry's done.
So how much longer can Meghan Markle hold on, her influence, her fame, even her marriage, if the backlash continues and the titles are stripped away? From tearless podcast scenes to emotional performances that fall flat, this saga has become more than just a PR misstep. Meghan's team may call it bullying, may say she's being punished just for showing emotion, but in the era of digital transparency, audiences know when something feels real, and they know when it doesn't. The public sentiment around Meghan and Harry's use of their royal titles has steadily turned, and the numbers are difficult to ignore. According to a recent YouGov poll, nearly 2/3 of Britons now support the idea of stripping the Sussexes of their royal titles entirely. This isn't a marginal shift. It's a groundswell of opinion rooted in what many perceive as ongoing hypocrisy. The couple, while no longer working royals, continues to use the prestigious Duke and Duchess of Sussex designation across their public ventures, from Netflix documentaries to lifestyle brand promotions, and now, podcasts. Critics argue this gives them an unearned platform of credibility and gravitas, one they leverage to build a commercial empire while simultaneously attacking the very institution that bestowed those titles. The use of the titles, once seen as a respectful nod to their roots in the royal family, now appears to many as strategic branding. Meghan and Harry have built entire narratives around speaking their truth, but with each media venture, they also tap into the global fascination with royalty, keeping their titles prominent on promotional materials, web pages, and media interviews. The dissonance has led to accusations of duplicity. As one commentator put it, you can't torch the castle and still expect to wear the crown. Behind palace walls, the issue is said to be a growing point of contention. While King Charles has historically taken a more measured, even conciliatory approach, perhaps influenced by his own complicated relationship with media scrutiny, Prince William is reportedly taking a much harder stance. Sources close to the royal household suggest that William views Meghan and Harry's continued public behavior as not just embarrassing, but damaging to the monarchy's long-term reputation. And that damage is no longer theoretical. It's quantifiable in terms of public trust, Commonwealth stability, and global perception. The mechanism for removing titles is complex. The king can unilaterally revoke the use of the HRH, Her Royal Highness styling, which was already addressed in 2020 when the Sussexes stepped down as working royals. But removing a peerage, such as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex titles, requires parliamentary action. In other words, it would need to pass as legislation. This ensures it isn't done lightly or in haste, but it also means the weight of public opinion plays a key role in pushing the matter forward. And with poll numbers increasingly in favor of action, it's not beyond the realm of possibility. What makes the current moment especially volatile is the timing. King Charles's ongoing battle with cancer has intensified scrutiny of the monarchy's future, placing enormous pressure on William to begin shaping the institution he will one day lead. According to royal insiders, William believes that maintaining integrity is essential, not only for public confidence, but for safeguarding the monarchy in a post-Elizabeth era where symbolism and tradition face increasing skepticism. The concern is that Meghan and Harry, by continuing to monetize their titles while flouting royal norms, weaken the perception of royalty as a public service, and instead reduce it to a celebrity commodity. There's also precedent. Historically, the monarchy has taken drastic steps to preserve its standing. The abdication crisis of 1936, for example, saw Edward VIII give up the throne and accept a lower title for pursuing a relationship deemed inappropriate by royal and political standards. Though times have changed, the principle remains. When the institution is perceived to be at risk, the response can be swift and severe. William's allies have reportedly suggested that when he ascends the throne, one of his first symbolic acts may be to initiate the process of stripping the Sussexes of their remaining royal trappings. Not out of revenge, but as a clear signal. The monarchy is about duty, not drama. And that message would be as much for the public as it is for future generations of royals navigating their own public lives. Yet the implications go far beyond titles. Stripping them of their peerage could have ripple effects across Meghan and Harry's entire brand infrastructure. Their production companies, speaking engagements, and charity partnerships often position them as royal insiders, whether implicitly or explicitly. Without that tether, the allure of their platform could diminish significantly. Investors, media partners, and sponsors may be less inclined to pay a premium for a brand that is no longer linked, even in name, to one of the most enduring institutions on Earth. And this is where the stakes become existential. For Meghan especially, who has anchored much of her post-royal identity around motherhood, empowerment, and emotional healing, being cut off formally by the royal family could signal the end of a strategic advantage. Without the Sussex title, her public narrative would need to stand entirely on its own merits, without the halo of royalty to command attention. To many observers, this is no longer a question of if, but when. The public wants action. Parliament, though slow-moving, responds to public pressure, and William, increasingly regarded as the modernizer of the monarchy, is reportedly prepared to lead that charge. Hit the like button and subscribe if you want to know more.